So when you called her, did you think you would be rejected? Did you think she would receive your...
I wasn't sure. I had a dream and I had a vision of having her eventually and really connecting with her. That's soulful love. But nobody's really sure about this. You have a dream, you try, you go for it.
Her story. This is a picture of the woman Moti saw 43 years ago and never forgot. Destiny brought them together. You say it's a soulful kind of love.
I believe that our hearts and our souls are connected to the Creator, but we're still human, and the ego reminds us that we are still human. We need to listen to the ego, but we still need to listen to the heart. With my connection with Moti and with this ego-to-heart practice, I've been allowing myself to take these layers off.
I think what my father and Ronit are doing here is going to be fantastic. I think they couldn't have found a better place possibly to do it.
Some of the details that make this building unique are the fireplaces. The original tile is still there with the years of construction, hearts all over the place. It fits in really well with the Peleg's vision of the house.
The house is quite unusual in my experience, and I've seen probably most of the country houses here in the region. I mean that it was designed in an arts and crafts style. Arts and crafts was a sort of anti-industrial movement that valued manual trades, the symbols of ordinary life, in terms of what the Pelegs are trying to do to create a comfortable retreat where people focus on each other and their relationships. Arts and crafts motifs do resonate, and of course so does the setting.
Walking around the grounds of this beautiful estate or mansion, I can see how conducive this would be to what Moti and Ronit are trying to share with the ego to heart. It's spiritual, natural, the intimacy. That's what ego to heart really focuses on, and that's the connectedness that keeps you going.
We're in the process of preparing a nomination to get this property listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The house itself is dated to 1906. Hilda Worthington Smith took over the property. She was a dean at Bryn Mawr College. But she started a summer training institute. In the 20s, she moved the school up here and operated out of this house. Eleanor Roosevelt and Hilda Smith's connections were in a large part through this kind of arts and crafts movement. Across the river at Balkill, where Eleanor had her home, unemployed people would come in for training. In fact, she started a number of these places during the Depression. She was really quite engaged in the idea of empowering women, workers, and empowering immigrants.
I feel the power and the energy of nature, of trees, the greenery, soil. It's like a déjà vu. I was born in Poland to Holocaust surviving parents. My parents immigrated to Israel. I felt, as I grew up in a farm, the connection to nature, very romantic. I made a conscious decision to live life in its fullest. I would not be held back by no war, no tragedies like the Holocaust. I finally found myself going to America. I studied to become a psychologist. I later got married to a nice American girl, the mother of my children. I loved her, but that connection wasn't there. Something was missing. Later, I divorced, and throughout the years, I had the image of the love I wanted.
It is the water barrier.
Love of a woman.
Sign of Aquarian, and both Moti and I are Aquarians. I was taught to be sophisticated, and I was taught to be a woman of the world.
It looks like Rebecca is bringing the water on her shoulders to Jacob.
And what he's teaching me is to connect to simplicity. I was born in Israel. I was very tall, skinny, shy. I was not a very good student. I think I was dyslexic. And so I decided to become a teacher, to take care of the kids like myself that needed special attention. I was accepted to Teachers College at the age of 17 by accident. I was going to a modeling class, and there was a picture of me in two-piece bathing suit in all the European magazines. So the first day of Teachers College, the principal called me and he says, "I'm sorry, you can't be a teacher," because the two-piece bathing suit picture was also in Israel. So I cried and it ruined my dreams. Somebody sent my picture into the Miss Israel contest, and the rest is history. I became Miss Israel and then a second runner-up to Miss Universe.
When I was in the pre-army school, I took a look at the cover of the magazine and I saw Ronit's face for the first time. I felt something in her eyes that was sad, as if they were calling me.
I moved to California. I had a good life. I had everything I wanted, 3 kids. Then I have 8 grandkids. But my husband and I had a hard time communicating. After 30 years of being married, we went to a practice called Flesh and Spirit, and that really gave us a tool to communicate better. 3 years later, Jack passed away. There was a great completion. It all had to be that way for me to become the teacher that I am today.
When I accomplished the dream of meeting and connecting with Ronit about 6 years ago, it was basically a blind date.
בדיוק, מלפני, מה אתה יודע? אתה לא יכול להגיד שאתה מאוהב בי, כי אתה לא יודע כלום. אז הוא אומר, אני מאוהב בך, אני בטוח שזה בדיוק מה אני מרגיש אותך, כל החיים שלי אני מרגיש אותך.
I realized she was a soulful person and she was already practicing counsel. This practice actually was the turning point in our first meeting. Counsel began to have a positive impact on my way of working with my patients, and I felt I was listening more intuitively.
I know Ronit and Moti practice counsel in Israel, and they have groups of Palestinians and Jews in a room, in a circle, trying to get to their heart. Simply what we do is we sit down, and if we have something that we need to discuss, we talk about that. You have talking pieces. If you have the talking piece, it's your floor. You have the undivided attention of the other or other persons without being interrupted. One person is learning how to listen, and one person is learning how to talk from the heart, not from the head. This is a way to bring people together. It's liberating.
So we found a historical mansion on the Hudson, which is now being renovated. We see it as a world center for couples workshops, a place where couples can come for a weekend and experience tranquility, a place where they can really connect to their loved ones, to their partners, from the heart.
In this kind of environment, people can remember the magic.
Ronit, איפה את היית, מלכתי האמיתית? רונית, את שלי תמיד, בעבר ובעתיד.